All right. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first topic, we're going to talk about this EV tax credit. It is almost April 18th now. I don't know what time it is in the US. Probably a day ago, so April 17th. But the EV tax credit, this 7,500 federal tax credit for Tesla has changed. The Treasury, EPA, and the EPA all have announced what vehicles will actually qualify, and so we'll go through the list of Teslas and see, and we'll kind of talk through it and explain on what is actually going on and how a little bit on how the EV tax credit, the electric vehicle tax credit, actually works, if you're confused with that as well. But at this point, this is where I usually run my intro, so let's do that. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel and get access to the best Tesla buying guide out there. So definitely check it out, Patreon link down below in the description. And so let us get into this. So if you don't know what's going on, there is one EV tax credit, but there are two different variations of it. You can get 7,500 federal tax credit if you buy a Tesla Model Y and at any single trim, and you basically just have to take delivery and that's it. And so once you get the tax credit, what happens is you actually file for the tax credit next year when you do your taxes next year. And to qualify, really you just have to make a certain amount of tax liability. You can use websites like Smart Asset to figure out how much actual income you actually make, to see how much taxes in full you actually pay for your tax liability, because it all makes sense on how much tax liability you actually have, not like any sort of refund or anything like that. And so if you see right here, we've got a look slated in here, $75,000 person, a single earner, no deductions whatsoever in terms of like 401k or anything like that. This person actually pays a tax liability of $9,381 throughout every year, throughout every single paycheck as a W-2 income earner. So basically, when you buy the Tesla Model Y, you would get this 7,500 taxes. You get that refund back in full. And so you can see how this could change depending on how much income you make. If you make $50,000, then you don't have enough tax liability to get that full $7,500 tax credit back. You can see that goes down to $44,000. So you can see you can get a little bit where you wouldn't get that full benefit back. But jumping back to the Tesla Model Y, in full you get there is a 7,500 federal tax rate, and this is the actual list. If you want to take a look and see all the different models, it's fueleconomy.gov. It's actually linked down below in the description amongst all the different resources that you can use. And so this is a site where you can go to it. It just got updated yesterday. You can see there's two different sections now. There's one for vehicle placed in service on or after April 18th, and then there's vehicles placed in service after December 31st, but before April 18th, right? So that's actually when you take delivery. It's not when you order the vehicle, it's actually when you take delivery and quote unquote place it in service. And so you can see there, you can sort down to Tesla as I've done already, and you can see all Model Ys qualify for the 7,500 federal tax credit, all the way up to an MSRP of $80,000. And so jumping to the Model 3, that's where the situation changes just a little bit, right? So there's only two trims of Model 3 that you can buy right now. I mean, you could find a Model 3 long range if you got lucky, but it seems like Tesla is not really releasing any of these vehicles at all. So this is waiting for Tesla.com, great inventory aggregator site where you can take a look and reserve vehicles that are actually out there. So shout out to TJ and the team. You can see there really isn't any Model 3 long range that are available right now. Mostly Model 3 rear-wheel drive standard ranges and a lot of performance all-wheel drive. So you can see right here the price of the Model 3 standard range is $41,990. I do predict that this price probably will go down in the near future now that the Model 3 standard range has lost half of the tax credit. So if you buy this now, if you take delivery of this vehicle after the April 18th, it is now only a $3,750 tax rate, which is half of the $7,500. So if you're confused on what is going on here, basically to the TLDR is because of the battery components of the battery minerals and the manufacturing of the vehicle, the Model 3 standard range does not qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax rate. And so right now only the Model 3 Performance does for the full $7,500, and all of the variations of the Model Y long range, all-wheel drive, standard range, and performance. But the funny thing here, or the interesting thing here, is there seems to be a vehicle missing from this website, missing from the fueleconomy.gov. And the only reason why it's missing is because Tesla did not submit the vehicle to the government to qualify for the 7,500. So does this mean that Tesla does not plan to release the Model 3 long range anymore, because it's 100% missing from this website? So that's pretty interesting stuff, because the Model 3 long range does exist in other markets, other countries, but not in the US right now. And it's been grayed out for a while now. So pretty interesting stuff. We don't really know what's going on. Maybe Tesla doesn't plan to release the Model 3 long range for a long time, maybe all the way until the Project Highland refresh. Then that's probably when they will release it at that point. But it seems like right now they will not be releasing the Model 3 long range, and probably not for the near future, which pretty interesting stuff, that's for sure. I mean, maybe because we definitely thought that they were going to drop, or I think that they're going to drop the price from the Model 3 standard range down to $39,990 and then introduce a Model 3 long range at like $45,000. But it seems like that might not be the case at this point. Maybe they're just going to hold that Model 3 long range all the way until the Project Highland actually gets released. So that's pretty interesting stuff at this point, that's for sure. So, but let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. The Tesla Twitter, or Twitter on Teslas, they've been talking a lot about this and how it's pretty much as expected. So if you got a pending EDD, a pending delivery date, you're still good, you're still fine. You can take delivery pretty much at any time, and you will get that 7,500 federal tax credit on the Model Y. The Model 3 standard range is the only one that pretty much lost it, and so right now you can take advantage of pretty good prices. I mean, the Model Y Performance is at its lowest price it's ever been at $56,990. Some of the other trims, they've been lower, like the Model Y long range has definitely been at a lower price than $52,990, and then the Model Y standard range is newly introduced. So there's some pretty decent deals right now. And on top of that, if you have not heard, you can use financing partners like Tenet down below in the description, where you can defer that 7,500 federal tax credit all the way to the end, which results in a lower monthly payment. So definitely check it out, and thank you to Tenet for sponsoring some of the videos this month. Check it out down below in the description. This results in a lower monthly payment, so there is a strategy where you can use Tenet, defer that 7,500, get a low monthly payment, and then potentially refinance it with a different bank after all of that. So definitely check it out. Tenet link down below in the description. But pretty big news. If you don't know this website, check it out, fueleconomy.gov. You can see all the different OEMs, all the different Teslas that qualify or do not qualify. And the biggest thing here is that Model 3 standard range is now, as expected, down to $3,750. And the Model Y keeps the 7,500. So congrats to everybody that's made it this far. Congrats to everybody that was worried about their estimated delivery date or not getting that 7,500. You basically have got it now, as long as you qualify as an individual. And if you're confused on how that qualification is, or how how you can get that 7,500 federal tax credit, check out a couple videos on the channel. We've made plenty of explain videos. There's even more videos where I dive into it a little bit more depending on certain factors, so definitely check it out. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me, where you can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources I use to get the best possible deal at the best financing rate, including a list of credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, lower than this 5.59%, some as low as even as 2.9 to 3.7%. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And as an added benefit, I do respond to all Patreon DMs and direct messages if you have any questions one-on-one about anything about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description.